Prophecy headlines. Woke world canceling Jesus. Now, I know that sounds like a strange title, but we live in a strange world right now. If you look at the headlines, there's bizarre stuff going on these days that we could not have thought of years ago. But I only picked out one headline, and I think we saw this on Saturday, and I said, oh my gosh, I didn't want to do any headlines, but I've got to touch on this one because it is so outrageous, and I think it's emblematic of what's going to occur. But this was so outrageous that I was just like, oh my gosh, Joanna, look at this. Look at what it's come to right now. And of course, I always throw this up. Again, if anyone has any questions, you could look at this. Now, most of the major prophetic milestones have already been reached. We are inching forward. The rapture could occur at any moment. The good Lord taking the church home. We're just waiting for that trigger event when God says it's time. When he wants to reap that, get that sickle in and reap the church up in the rapture and bring us home to the heaven that he's been preparing for us, those mansions, for 2,000-ish years now. So anyway, that's all in prep. You can go back and look. I've got dates on here where I gave classes on the one world religion, the one world government, the 10 global kingdoms, the prep for the third temple. We've already covered that all. You're more than welcome to go for it. We did not include this bizarre title. Christianity on trial in Finland as Bible is deemed hate speech. Now, Bible is actually can be considered hate speech according to a law that they put in place to protect certain minorities. So this is talking about, and this is retroactive. There are these two people that are being charged with hate speech for writing and publishing a 24-page 2004 booklet that explained basic Christian theology about sex and marriage, which reserves sex exclusively for within a marriage, which can only consist of one man and one woman for life. The Finnish prosecutor claimed centuries-old Christian teaching about sex incited hatred and violent legal preferences for government-privileged identity groups. So, the Bible and what the Bible presents is offensive to people, and it is hateful to the world. Why? Because the world wants to do whatever it wants, and it does not want to be held to any kind of moral standard. Now, this is against directly the teachings of Jesus Christ, which we all know well. Here's from Mark 10, 6 through 9. But from the beginning of creation, God made them male and female. Whoa, that's offensive, because now you could choose anything you want on a scale of how much male and how much female you are. There is all kinds of genders that are out there, according to the wisdom of mankind. So that's offensive. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and really, you just have parents. Father and mother are really kind of offensive terms now, aren't they? And cleave to his wife. Is that wife? Is someone offended by that in here? In society they are. And they twain shall be one flesh. So then they're no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let no man put asunder. So Jesus' teachings are offensive and not socially acceptable now. And the woke crowd wants to cancel Jesus Christ and the words he gave to mankind to live by, to create a family environment to raise your children up right in the way of the Lord. To that, I pulled up Isaiah 5:2. Woe to those saying to evil good, and to good evil, putting darkness for light and light for darkness, putting bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. What about Christian freedom of speech? Can't we believe the way we want and profess what we believe anymore? Apparently not. And how about freedom of worship? Can't we worship the God we want to without somebody going in and revising the Bible to whatever they believe the social, cultural norm needs to be? So I found this offensive. You can imagine this was coming. We know that it will be offensive in the age of the Antichrist to be a Christian or a practicing Jewish person. You must worship instead the beast. So that is what's good. It's coming to. But we're seeing that now. These are the underpinnings and the legal regulations and the lawyers that are placed in charge of legislating, or I should say, developing a judicial judgment on what the law is and how that law should be applied. Any thoughts on this?
This is just how it starts.
Yeah.
I mean, we know what's coming, and there's got to be a trigger to start it somewhere, somehow. And I mean, for me, it's shocking that it's so in your face.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you'd think that they would try to slip it in there, you know, and trick you into culture and changing like this, but no, they're coming straight out with it.
Yeah, well, and as the time approaches to the return of Jesus Christ, Satan is going to be bolder and bolder, and his children of disobedience are going to speak out, and we're seeing that more and more often. Just today, Joanna saw on Fox News, they had in Virginia, there was a school library that had the Bible next to a gnome that had a rainbow hat on, and next to it was a pedophilia
Two other books
stories.
that are notarized right now as one's Lawn Boy and the other one's called Genderqueer, and they both had gnomes too.
And they were right next to the Bible.
All those three for suggested reading over the holidays, and
But you know, mankind's been doing that for generations.
Yeah, but this is not even a
here.
public library. This is a school library. So whoever's in charge of that library is pushing their agenda onto these kids. It's disgusting. And we've talked in this, we've been having this Bible study, 8 years? And we've talked about they're coming for your kids. And they definitely are. If they can influence and corrupt little children in their youth and twist their minds to where they believe in the dark teachings of the world, they've got them. And it's going to be hard to break them from that mold.
Yeah, because it creates a whole generation of that thought process.
Right.
It's in the cartoons they watch too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to be careful. It's everywhere.
Yeah, Superman with a boyfriend.
Well, I mean, like those from My Little Ponies and those Fat Young.
and Sesame.
You got to really watch. It's.
Well, did
Every commercial we watch, more and more commercials.
Oh, yeah.
That's the norm, that's what they convey.
Yeah, well, we're supposed to be in the world, not of the world, so.
On the news this morning in a college, I don't know where, I think, it was Pennsylvania, Penn State. They had a male swimmer that competed for like 3 years swimming as a male and broke all the records, and then took a year off and came back and identified as a transgender female and joined the female swim team at Penn State and beat the fastest female swimmer by 38 seconds
Yeah, it's.
in a competition.
Yeah.
And
It's
they
a-
said
it's a-
within 3 years, he will have set all new records that nobody else will ever break.
Yeah.
You know, no female will be able to do that.
Well, let me, yeah, I know the Bible has something in here. Oh, yes. It says, God made them male and female. There's nothing else. Everything else is man-made. God made them male and female. Mankind made it something else. Why? Because it appealed to the self-centered nature within them. And it's the whole slippery slope talked about in Romans chapter number 1. You see that degradation in society as it slides down that slippery slope. I would say that there's a number of classes that I have on these topics. This also reminds me of As in the Days of Noah. There's a class on that on the site I have posted, and other things as well pertaining to this, Satan's reign, world religion coming, the mark of the beast, all that's interrelated, and it's all out there in those times.